What are the top selling supplements in the world on Amazon today, Thursday, the 4th of June, 2026? Now, I did a video like this probably 2 or 3 months ago, and you'll notice that the top five don't really change that much, but it's very interesting once you start getting down to the top 20 and 30. Don't worry, I'm not going to do a long review of every single product for the first 100. That would be a long video. Plus, LinkedIn caps videos at 15 minutes, which is annoying. So we're going to go into this. Obviously, study what's important, go deep on what is also important, but not go over things a million times to waste your time. So let's get into this. Number one seller in the entire world for Amazon.com is Pure Encapsulations Magnesium Glycinate. So I've got one right here. Good product, solid product, hard to fault it. Single ingredient, it's just magnesium glycinate. Like I mentioned before, Pure Encapsulations was already a fairly successful brand, known for discipline, being somewhat kind of clinical and targeting a more professional audience. Then they got acquired by Nestle, and their sales grew massively because obviously had more resources and distribution behind them. Good thing is, from what I can tell, and also what I've heard from colleagues in the industry and just what I've observed being in this place, I haven't noticed any difference since they've been acquired by Nestle in terms of any changes in the products themselves. So I think they're kind of letting them operate as they always did, but just giving them much more firepower if they need it. So no surprise that magnesium is the top selling product in the world. Number two is creatine, also not a surprise. So, creatine, I still think it's funny when I see this on the top selling list, because for me, I first took creatine when I was 17 years old in the gym. Other people who took creatine were like bodybuilders and fitness freaks, professional sprinters and semi-professional sprinters, so people doing explosive sports. But it was very much a sports-oriented supplement. The first time I ever heard of anyone using it for brain power was Tim Ferriss in the 2010 book, The 4-Hour Body. And even that was like quite cutting edge and ahead of its time. But now, fast forward to 2026, you got grandmas and all sorts of people taking creatine for improving brain function on a short-term basis, but also aiming to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that in the longer term. And women taking it without being scared of magically growing huge muscles, which, obviously by now we know that's not true. There's a lot of guys who wish it was that easy to grow muscles, but it's not going to happen. So creatine, number two. Also creatine, number three. This is just a cheaper product, although at this size, actually, this one's cheaper. This is a more famous brand. This is like a very generic, mainstream, streamlined, cheap brand that has a lot of affordable options, but creatine and creatine, number two, number three. Also notice this is creatine monohydrate, which is the original style of creatine. There's been a lot of different fancy ones that have come out since, like esterified creatine, creatine hydrochloride as well. But all the studies time and time again show that good old boring creatine monohydrate seems to be the best way to take it. Moving on. Probiotics. This is quite strong. 60 billion CFUs, or colony-forming units, is a lot. So this is likely to help someone who's got an imbalance where they've got too much bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria, or they've maybe depleted the bacteria through taking antibiotics, for example. And these guys also add a little bit of prebiotic fiber to help the probiotic bacteria multiply, because it's a food source. So smart product, disciplined, very affordable for this category. No surprise, it's a top seller. Also, as a category, probiotics is just such a timeless category, along with things like magnesium. It's pretty much always going to be in the top 10. So I'm not surprised it's number 4. Number 5, Vital Proteins Collagen. So that's the new streamlined, environmentally friendly container. This is the standard one that they've had for years. Great. I mean, they were the pioneer of the category. If you didn't see my other video about the history of collagen, it's this brand, Vital Proteins, which really helped put it on the map as a mainstream product. And they founded the brand purely out of pursuit of helping joint pain. The founder himself had to help rebuild his knees because he was having issues with running, and it worked really well, so he wanted to pass that on. But interestingly, the biggest fire under the bottom of Vital Proteins, which has launched it into the mainstream, not Vital Proteins, sorry, collagen in general, is not necessarily joint health and athletic recovery, but it's beauty. So collagen is a huge seller for skin and also hair, also nails, but mainly skin and hair. If you take enough of it, it can really add up over time. Also, it's got a lot of good applications for gut health. So people with leaky gut syndrome, other inflammatory issues, it can help with repairing and strengthening the gut lining, which is really great. So digestive benefits as well, which indirectly can also help further with beauty, because a lot of people with gut issues end up getting bad skin and things like that because of gut issues. So really great all-rounder. Also strong use in low-calorie diet people who tend to have a good crossover with beauty, because remember, collagen is still protein. So it's not going to be as good at, say, building muscle as something like whey protein, but it is still going to help with feeling satisfied and feeling full like any other kind of protein. Creatine again, but Thorne, super boss brand, big fan. And yeah, but it is Thorne. They're more premium. So naturally the price is a bit higher. Moving on, Nordic Naturals, Ultimate Omega. Again, this is going to seem like a bit of a joke here, but any product on my shelf is either something I personally take, my wife takes, or it's a product I'm a fan of. So this is one that I literally take every day. That is Nordic Naturals Ultimate Omega. Really great because it packs in a lot of total omegas into one capsule. So they use what's called a soft gel capsule. So you'll notice it's kind of big and squishy, but not super squishy, it's still firm. And this is because you can store more in there versus a conventional capsule. So you can pack a lot of omegas in there, which is great. I also found that this brand almost never results in me having any kind of fishy burp aftertaste, which some of the cheaper, more generic fish oils can do that for many people, myself included. So yeah, great brand, always worth paying up for. And the value gets pretty good. Like they got 3 sizes, like 60, 120, and 180. Well, this is a 90. Interesting. So 4 sizes. Yeah, I've got the 180. So when you buy this many, like the price ends up working out pretty good anyway. Moving on, Collagen Plus. So collagen, like I said, has its biggest market with the beauty audience. So surprise, surprise, this one has added hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, which are both specifically for helping with skin. So this is basically a collagen formula which is doubled down even further on beauty, which makes a lot of sense. Fish oil, again, great. Omegas are great, timeless, so good for you. Anti-inflammatory, lowering cholesterol, improving brain power, many, many things. So no surprise, another fish oil is in the list. Vitamin D3, a lot of people don't get enough, even hilariously people who live in sunny countries like my home country of Australia, because everyone's kind of scared of the sun. I mean, for good reason. You don't want to get skin cancer, obviously, but the best way to get vitamin D is to get your skin exposed to direct sunlight for a few minutes a day. Even 5-10 minutes can make a ton of vitamin D if the sun is strong enough. But in the cold winter months and the dark months, it's not a bad idea to take some vitamin D. Or if you live in a country which never really gets super strong sun, it's also not a bad idea. So, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's no surprise to see this in the top 10. It's one of the most recommended and prescribed vitamins of the last 20, 30 years and easily of the last 2-3 years. Again, another D3, no surprise. Oil of oregano, interesting, with black seed oil. So oil of oregano, I mean, had its fans years ago, but black seed oil is something which is more of a recent trend. It's not really, it's more of like a TikTok-y kind of trend. So there's not really that much behind it, but you will see it popping up on different products. So yeah, interesting that that's all the way up at number 12. So that's pretty, respect. And again, notice what it's recommending: immune and digestive support. Everyone knows they need immune system, but what I found is that not many people are willing to pay money to get good immune system products, but digestion is a huge category. So you'll see that pop up again further and further, and we've already seen it here with the probiotics in number 4. Moving on, same brand as the probiotics above, but now women-specific probiotic. This might sound kind of weird, but remember that women don't just have a gut bacteria environment to maintain, they also have a vaginal bacteria environment to maintain. So they do have different needs with certain strains of probiotics. So having a women's specific probiotic product makes a lot of sense. Hair, skin, and nails. Again, we've been talking about beauty, makes sense. Interestingly, this is a gummy. So not the best format to get the ingredients you need, but a popular format because it's fun and trendy. And it looks cool too, eating these little pink things instead of swallowing pills. Again, women-specific probiotic. So interesting. 2 spots in the top 15 are women's specific probiotics. Vitamin D again, magnesium again, melatonin. Some countries don't let you sell this as a supplement, but US does, and a lot of Europe does as well, but Australia doesn't. So yeah, melatonin, quite effective. Most people fall asleep pretty quick. Some people might not fall asleep, but they'll feel really drowsy. I don't recommend it almost ever, just because it is something your body's meant to make on its own. And if you start giving your body something it normally makes, it can get the signal to make less of it. So you might, in the short term, help improve your sleep issues. But as soon as you stop taking it, you're kind of going to be screwed, because you're not going to be making enough yourself. So yeah, really improve the rest of your routine and try everything else you can before you go to melatonin, because it's a slippery slope. So, get sunlight in your eyes within the first half an hour of waking up to tell your brain that it's daytime. Make sure you avoid screens in the last 2 hours before bed. Even just 1 hour can make a difference. You can even get those orange blue blocking glasses for the last few hours before you go to bed. Don't eat within 4 or 5 hours of sleeping. Don't drink booze within 2 to 3 hours of sleeping. All these basic things, you're not going to do them perfect every night, but if you are consistent most of the time, you should be able to sleep. Even people who have a history of sleep issues can improve their chances by adopting some of these habits. So try to avoid melatonin. Thorne, magnesium glycinate. Awesome brand. Again, another one I have here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so awesome. Magnesium glycinate, brilliant. And Thorne is a great brand. Another magnesium glycinate, liquid multivitamin. So cool. Plus hair growth. So multivitamin, most people know they need more vitamins and want to cover their bases, but the hair angle is great. If you noticed already, now we're up to product 21, and there's multiple products targeting beauty. So hair, skin, and nails is a huge one. Collagen, already talked about that. Digestive enzymes. This is a category I expect to see getting bigger and bigger. It's already pretty big, but it's getting there. And what has really lit a fire under this category is widespread GLP-1 use, because GLP-1 users, one of the main side effects is digestive issues. So digestive enzymes can help you break down your foods better, help you get more nutrients out of them, but also help you feel better. So you're less bloated, less gassy. Very important. Fiber, also something GLP-1 users need, because they tend to not get enough fiber because they're not eating as much food. So having it as a supplement is popular. Doing it as a gummy is a pretty easy way to do it. But I don't recommend Metamucil, any of their formats. And I also don't recommend this either, because psyllium husk is a very, very thick and coarse, thirsty fiber, which can make you dehydrated, which can make you bloated and feel gross. And it's just a bad choice. There's much better alternatives out there, like inulin, acacia fiber, baobab, beta-glucans, resistant starch. There are so many. So just don't do psyllium husk. I know it's mainstream and it's everywhere, but it sucks. Don't do it. Collagen again, psyllium husk, don't do it. Eye vision, eye health, this is great, very consistent. Category which needs more help. So lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 nutrients which you can find typically in nature in things like berries, especially blueberries. Really good for the eyes. Rise, mushroom coffee. So it's got actual coffee in there as well, but it's got adaptogenic mushrooms, and it's got less caffeine and less coffee in general than you would get in a normal coffee. So it's it's something that a lot of people like, because it can still make you feel really good and clear-headed and have energy, but you tend to consume less caffeine in total. Neuromag. So this is magnesium, like we've seen already multiple times, but this is something called magnesium L-threonate, magnesium bonded with the amino acid threonine. So when you do this one, rather than something like magnesium glycinate, it has a higher chance to cross what's called the blood-brain barrier, which means more magnesium is going to get to your brain, which means this magnesium is more likely to help you feel in a better mood, less stressed, and even help with focus and brain power and things like that. And this is a branded extract of magnesium threonate called Magtine, very popular branded ingredient. Magnesium, again, no surprise. It doesn't really specify which form, but this is, in general, this brand is pretty affordable. Hence, look at this price tag here. So it's probably just on there because people want magnesium at that price point. Also, we're coming up to the 15-minute mark. So I'm going to cut this into 2 videos because I'm only up to product number 30. So anyways, this is the end of part 1. I'll see you in part 2 momentarily. All right, continuing on with part 2 of this video. Methylfolate. So a lot of people need folate. The most famous and common known use of taking extra folate is for people who are women who are trying to get pregnant or who are pregnant. Having enough folate can help with preventing neural tube defects and things to do with the nervous system development of a child. And unfortunately, most folate given is something called folic acid, which is the generic version. And folic acid is hard for most people to absorb. And then some people have a gene mutation called the MTHFR gene, where this mutation prevents them being able to turn folic acid into folate. So if you take something else called 5-MTHF, so 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, this is what's called methylated folate. It's basically when your body takes folic acid, it needs to do another process to then turn it into folate. If you take this, you're basically already getting the folate ready, so you can absorb it. So even people without that genetic defect are going to absorb more folate out of this, and people with the defect can actually absorb this, which is great. So folate is very popular for having a baby, but also there are some other applications as well, like nervous system function, beauty, things like that, and also energy. Fish oil, we talked about that above. Turmeric and curcumin. So curcumin is the active ingredient from turmeric. Turmeric is the herb, the root, or a spice, I guess it would be called instead of a herb. Looks like ginger, but it's orange instead, especially when you cut it open. Great anti-inflammatory, often used for hair, skin, and nails, joint pain, reducing pain in general. For example, it's even been shown in studies to be more effective than NSAIDs like ibuprofen, like Advil and Nurofen, but it doesn't act as fast, so that's an issue. But yeah, really cool, strong anti-inflammatory. Create, so creatine we've already talked about, but this is creatine in a gummy, and this is one of the biggest, shiniest brands doing it really well, with a lot of cool flavors. They've got backing from Unilever Ventures, so they've got money, so they keep going from strength to strength, and this is a pretty high ranking. So they're definitely getting bigger and bigger. Seed, that is one of the best probiotic supplements in the world right now. It's been around for a while now, but it still keeps going from strength to strength. So they were the first brand to really go on about combining prebiotic fiber with probiotic bacteria, creating what they called a synbiotic, because there are these two things working in synergy. And what's interesting is if you look at the capsule, inside this green capsule is another clear capsule, because the green capsule contains the fiber, the prebiotics, and the white capsule contains the probiotics, the good bacteria. So they're giving you the good guys, and they're giving you the food source to help those good guys multiply and give you a great gut bacteria environment. So pretty cool. And they funded a ton of studies before they even launched the product. So yeah, they're really cool. Multivitamin for men, great. Most people need a multivitamin or a green, something like that, because most people don't get enough nutrients from the foods they eat, or if they do eat good healthy foods, they tend to stick to their favorites, so they don't get a big enough variety in their diet. D3 again and D3 again, but also this time with vitamin K, known as K2. That's the better version of vitamin K instead of K1, just like D3 is the better version of D instead of D2. If you put vitamin K with vitamin D, you tend to absorb the vitamin D better, and also you tend to help encourage the D3 to behave better. So one of vitamin D's roles is to store calcium correctly in the body, and if you take a ton of it as a supplement, it can start moving calcium to places you don't want it, such as in your fingers and toes, causing bone spurs, gout, and pain, and all these things. And if you take mega doses of vitamin D, which some people do, but they shouldn't, you can end up with unfortunate situations like lining your blood vessels with calcium, which is not good. So vitamin K helps reduce the chances of that. Plus, on its own, it's an important vitamin most people don't get enough. So you need it for blood clotting and immune function and a few other things. Elderberry, this is cool. This is a famous old grandma's remedy for immune system. It also tastes and smells really good. So having it as a gummy makes sense why it's popular. It's probably delicious. But yeah, elderberry, great natural remedy for immune health. Magnesium, again, no need to explain that. B12, a B vitamin that most people could probably do with a little bit more of. And anyone who is at risk of anemia, such as women more than men, because obviously having a period means you're losing blood every month, taking vitamin B is quite a common thing. Just like with the folate we explained above, there's a generic vitamin B, which, I don't know. Let's see if we can, we can click this. I don't think it's going to screw up the video. Let's see if we can get the form here. Whoop. Can I move this thing? I don't think so. Here we go. So as you'll see here, this is vitamin B12 as cyanocobalamin. This is synthetic cheap B12. You don't want this. What you do want is methylcobalamin, just like the methylfolate. When it comes to a lot of vitamins, there is a lot of different levels, good forms, bad forms, and this is a cheap generic form. You don't want to buy this. No surprise why the price tag is so cheap. Moving on to Grüns. Great product. It took greens and turned them into a gummy and showed that it could be done. Just got sold for $1.2 billion 2 months ago to Unilever. And not much to say about that. I mean, awesome. Superfoods, greens, fruits and veggies, broad spectrum of vitamins and minerals. Basically a sexier, more fun way of taking a multivitamin and getting some extra fruits and veggies in your diet. The founder took a gamble on convincing people to take 8 little gummy bears every day instead of taking, a multivitamin or a scoop of greens powder like with AG1. Turns out he was right. Lots of people love doing it. Ton of people still subscribe to this, and they still sell gigantic amounts of Grüns every day. So hats off to them. Magnesium again. No need to explain that. Zinc, important for hair, skin, and nails. Important for wound healing. Very important for immune system. But again, you can get cheap zinc like zinc oxide, or you can get good zinc like zinc glycinate or zinc citrate. So this price tag here and this brand makes me think it might be a crappy one. So I don't want to write them off though. Let's give them a chance. Hey, there we go. They've got zinc gluconate. Good job, guys. That's actually a decent form of zinc. So happy for them that they've just decided to do that. So great. Here we are. So collagen, again, no need to explain that. They've thrown a few other things in there as well, but it's mainly collagen. Multivitamin, but in a gummy, aimed at women. Another multivitamin, but with omegas, targeting kids. So, omega-3 is important for everyone, but it's especially important for developing brain health of kids and attention and things like that. Taking omega-3, which is typically made up of DHA and EPA, 2 different things. The DHA part is especially important for the brain, and it's often given to kids in high doses who might have ADD/ADHD. Biotin, that is especially good for hair. So again, beauty is a recurring theme in this list. Magnesium, again, no need to go over that. Women's prenatal, but again, look at this, folic acid. So don't take this because folic acid is crappy folate. You want methylfolate. So look for a better one. And moving on, Super Beets. If you've watched some of my videos before, you'll know I'm a fan of this product because they pioneered putting beetroot and grapeseed extract into a chew, like a Starburst candy, and using it for boosting blood pressure and heart health. So it's not boosting your blood pressure, sorry, but boosting your circulatory health by maintaining healthy blood pressure levels. This has gone down in rankings a little bit. So last time I did one of these, it was in the 40s. Now it's number 51. Still a massive seller. Like, look at this, 75,000 reviews. But slipping down the list a little bit. It is fairly niche, so, it does have its moments. Fiber in a gummy. Cool way to deliver it because gummies need to be stuck together with something, often different types of fiber. So making a fiber gummy makes total sense. And again, there's another fiber gummy here. Interesting that some of these brands are using wording here, targeting GLP-1. So anything to do with digestion or fiber, even protein, you will see that mentioned more and more. Magnesium, but as magnesium glycinate, so good job to them. Ritual, prenatal multivitamin for women. This is a really good brand who pioneered women's products for pre, during, and post-pregnancy, and they use that good folate I mentioned before, 5-methylfolate, as well as a variety of other things. Plus, the capsules are really cool. They put a lot of time, energy, and effort into making these see-through, visually beautiful capsules. Cranberry, that's often just taken for urinary tract infections. And if you take a concentrated dose, it can help with that. Magnesium glycinate, don't need to explain that. Metamucil, avoid it because it's made from psyllium husk. But again, look at this, GLP-1. Melatonin, avoid it. So essential amino acids, this used to be something more for gym junkies, but now you're getting crossover with GLP-1, dieters, things like that. So think about it as amino acids are just components of protein. So you take them to help preserve your muscle, perform better. Or some people on GLP-1 drugs are taking them in the hope of not losing as much muscle. Nello Super Calm, awesome product that I did a review of a month or two ago. That also, just like Human Super Beats, used to be around the 40 to 50 mark on the Amazon bestseller list. It's now 61. Still a massive seller, but slipping down the list. It's really cool. Anti-stress formula, very natural. Milk Thistle. This is for liver health primarily, which indirectly can help with digestion as well. Again, like we were saying, digestive support is moving up and up. Fiber in a gummy, or don't need to explain that further. Thorn Basic Nutrients, so just a fancy multivitamin. Probiotics, this brand Culturelle is really cool. They were one of the first brands to put pre and probiotics together. Not in an advanced way like these guys, but in a simple way. But they did consciously add some prebiotic fiber with their probiotics early, so good for them. Vitamin D and vitamin K, we've already covered this. Omega, we've already covered this. One a day multivitamin. Creatine, already covered this, but this is quite a premium position brand, Momentous. So they the higher price tag, so that's why they're lower down the list. Multivitamin again. Iron. This exact iron bisglycinate I actually give to my wife. It's really good because iron as a bisglycinate tends to be pretty gentle on the stomach. Most people don't like iron supplements in general because they make you constipated and bloated. This one is quite good, not just my wife, but a lot of other people who I know have taken it. D3 and K2, great. Emergency, man, I used to be in love with these guys when I was like first traveling to the US years ago. They were everywhere. It was like they were one of the first brands to be using single serve sachets like this, like stick packs. And it tastes really good. Just 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, sometimes with some extra minerals thrown in there. Simple, disciplined product. It's been a top seller for years. It's still around. A lot of people have like fond memories of this, so it's probably why it's still in the bestseller list. Vitamin B12, don't need to go over that. Glucosamine and chondroitin, plus turmeric and MSM. So this is all very focused on repairing joints, as it says here, joint support. Still a timeless category. It's not nice to have bad joints, though collagen has taken away some of the market from glucosamine and chondroitin. Biotin for hair growth with collagen and keratin, which is a strange thing to be putting collagen into a capsule because you're not going to fit enough in there. But for marketing purposes, they probably want to have this on their label, so it's a bit deceptive. Ashwagandha in a gummy. So Nello Super Calm I mentioned above, an anti-stress formula. One of its key ingredients is ashwagandha, a famous Ayurvedic herb from India that helps with reducing stress. So these guys have it here in a gummy. I like that it's blue though. That's kind of like makes you think of calming. Myo and D-charo-inositol. So this is a very specific product used for women with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. So these two types of inositol, which is a B vitamin-like substance, if taken in the right doses, may help with reducing symptoms from PCOS long-term. Turmeric, don't need to go over that again. Great product. Calcium. It hasn't been on the list anywhere else so far, but again, a timeless one. A lot of people need a bit of extra calcium. Also, they've got some vitamin D here, which is good because it can help with the absorption of the calcium. Sleep gummy, but it's melatonin, so not a fan. Creatine again. Dose. Now, this is a cool product. This is actually a little shot with a lot of turmeric and milk thistle, dandelion and ginger as well. And they give you a little shot glass when you buy it, and you pour it in each day and shot it. So very cool product format. Vitafusion Women's Multi. Let's see if we can get to number 100 in the next 30 seconds before the time cutoff happens. Magnesium, psyllium husk, don't do it. Oil of oregano, we saw them already in the top 20. Magnesium, probiotic and prebiotic, cool. Iron, important. Yep, magnesium, multivitamin. Coenzyme Q10, great product. I've got a similar one by that brand. Heart health, circulation, blood pressure, beauty, fertility. Grass-fed beef liver. Organs are very popular as a source of minerals. fish oil again, collagen, liver, hair, skin, and nails, and prenatal multi. We made it. See you in the next video.